It's time to wrap up the new Spidey origins, with a fight against every single one of his villains, because how else are you gonna end his new origins? Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues, and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read it dramatically back to you. All alterations of the panel text and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Now, for those of you guys who are just joining us for the Spider-Man retconned origins, this was a 12-issue series in which each issue was a separate storyline. So we've been doing videos involving 2 issues each. This is Spidey 11 and 12. Peter Parker's day began like any other. Go to school, take a test, help the fine people of the city as Spider-Man, even though they still think he's weird. Sure, he may have missed out on a chance to hang out with Gwen and Flash after class, but it's fine. He has other things to do, which sadly has nothing to do with Gwen. And then he has to think about how he's just wasting his life. That is until he sees the coolest thing ever. A giant purple guy and a bunch of superheroes fighting against him. Who cares who that is? It's time for the ultimate team up. Just act natural, talk less, smile more, even though the people can't see your smile underneath your mask. But just as Peter's about to leap into battle to join everyone, he finds himself grabbed by the leg and slammed onto the rooftop. Scorpion then tells him, "Tonight you die!" And Peter tells him, "No thank you." Peter then says that he isn't sure if he noticed, but there's a giant monster kind of destroying everything, so maybe Scorpion could try to murder him on another night? After throwing Scorpion into the wall, Peter then wraps him up and pulls out his phone to call S.H.I.E.L.D., except he kind of forgot their number. It's not 911, you know, there is no quick S.H.I.E.L.D. number. Before long, Scorpion breaks free from the webbing and he goes back to attacking. But things are seeming a bit different about him. He keeps shouting, "Tonight he dies," which isn't normal for Mr. Scorporino. Peter manages to knock Scorpion back down again and he webs him up again. And Scorpion rips out again. Scorpion then fires a blast from his tail, knocking Peter over the edge. But before falling, Scorpion catches him and slams him back into the building. Soon the two of them fall down to the street and Peter tells him, "You know what? Tails are out this year," and he rips Scorpion's tail off. Scorpion shouts no, but Peter tells him yes, and he webs him up for the 3rd time. Scorpion then tells him, please get these voices out of my head." Peter looks and sees a small metal pin on the back of his neck, so he pulls him out. However, before Peter can look at it, the pin self-destructs, which there's nothing very evil about, not at all, not even a little bit. Now, with Scorpion finally taken care of, it's time to get to that giant crossover battle. Elsewhere though, Doc Ock is watching, along with a few other villains, planning their next move. Back in the streets, Peter jumps into action, telling everyone, "All right, the cavalry is, oh come on!" The rest of the superheroes begin to leave after their victory, and Ben Grimm says that if he really wants to help, he can help clean up the mess. The next day, Peter heads back to school just like any other day, assuming that things will probably be close to the same. That is until Gwen asks Peter if he would like to go to the school dance with her. And that concludes Spidey issue 11. Now it's time for Spidey issue 12, with the Sinister 6. Shockingly enough for Peter, he was having an amazing day. Aunt May finally got a job working at a shelter, and he's going to a dance with Gwen. Even J. Jonah Jameson liked 2 of his pictures of Spider-Man, even though they were still mostly garbage. After getting ready, Peter and Gwen head back to the dance, and there's one thing that Peter wants to ask. Why him? She's amazing, smart, funny, badass, and he's, well, Peter Parker. She tells him that she's really not hearing the question, and when is he gonna realize just how great he really is? After the dance, the two of them head to the all-night diner to get something to eat, and Peter begins to think that nothing can ruin this amazing day, until his Spidey sense goes off. Peter tells Gwen that it looks like it's getting late, plus her dad's a cop, so maybe she should head, but she tells him that she knows they should call it a night. She then thanks Peter for the perfect kiss, and before Peter can question that, she kisses him. So yeah, perfect day ruined by stupid Spidey sense. Peter suits up and he begins to follow the cries for help until he finds a man tied to a chair. He reaches out for him, but his hand passes through the man, and that's when he notices that it's a hologram, which is very cool, but that also means Mysterio. Mysterio fires a blast at Peter and then begins to circle around him, telling him that they have all missed him. Electro then appears, shocking Peter, and tells him that actually he didn't miss him at all. And just as Peter webs his hands together, Vulture swoops in, grabbing him by the shoulders. Vulture then flies up, kicking Peter through a building and out the other side of it. As he's falling, Peter begins to think that hopefully there's something soft below him, because right now he's feeling a bit semi-conscious right about, and as he lands, he's thankful that there is sand to stop him. Then he realizes, sand in the middle of New York, stopping his fall? Wait a second. Sandman begins to rise and he punches Peter back down, smashing him into the ground. But instead of continuing his attack, Sandman begins to fade back into his sand, and next Kraven stands up from the sand. Craven hits Peter with a barrage of punches, and with one final kick, he knocks him away. And a voice then tells Peter that this is what he's wanted for so long, him at his feet. And the Sinister Six all stand over him. And Peter begins to wonder if this is it. Is this the end of his life? And then he notices that his life isn't flashing before his eyes. All he sees is today, the good and amazing perfect day that he had. The dance with Gwen, Jonah actually helping him out. Aunt May, no, he can't give up just yet. And just as Doc Ock goes in for a strike, Peter manages to jump away, and then he swings back in, kicking everyone. Next, he webs a hold of Vulture and he slings him back into Sandman. And then he finally grabs Doc Ock's arms and swings them back, hitting him in the face. After tying everyone up with the mechanical arms, Peter tells them that this isn't the end for him, though it might be the end for his costume. The next morning, Peter begins to think about how he got to where he is now. Bitten by a radioactive spider, given great powers, sometimes he doesn't win. In fact, more often than not, he loses. But he'll never give up. Why, you ask? Because he's the amazing Spider-Man. And that concludes the Spidey series. It actually ends at that point, as far as I know. Maybe they'll bring it back, maybe they won't. But personally, I liked these fun, lighthearted storylines retconning the origins of Spider-Man. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought about them. Don't forget to subscribe for more Spider-Man in general videos, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Comicstorian. I'll see you guys next time right here.